The Houthis. Can you explain to me what they are? We have been seeing the various things they've been doing in recent years. For example, the destruction of a huge number of oil wells in Saudi Arabia. But what do they want from us? How far is it to Eilat? 1,500 kilometers? From Bab el Mandeb. The Houthis are a family. They're a tribe that lives in Yemen. And why are they called Houthis? That's their name, the Houthi family, like your name. They are from a place called Houth. It's a city named Houth. This group belongs to a Shiite cult or group that's called Zaydiya, which exists mainly in Yemen. And the Iranian Shia adopted them, although they're somewhat different. It's not exactly the same Shia, but they adopted them because they're Shia, just as they adopted the Lebanese Shiites, who are Ismailis and not the Twelvists. But I won't get into all those finer points. They're ours. Yes, they're one of ours, like Sephardi and Ashkenazi. They're ours, but the Yemenite style. So they adopted them, they armed them. These Houthis, they're fairly simple people. They have Kalashnikovs and they go barefoot. Are you serious? With their ballistic missiles? I'm not at all sure that they're the ones who are firing the ballistic missiles. Iran? Of course it's Iran, because they need knowledge, physics, math. But the Iranians don't appear on televisions, and the ones that go on television are the Houthis, and they say, we fired the missile, we did this, we did that, so everyone ascribes it to them. I think it's the Iranians, although I wasn't there, and I didn't see exactly who's lighting the match to the fuse. So they've been fighting Saudi Arabia for 8 years now. And they've been driving Saudi Arabia completely crazy. Once, even an official guest arrived in Saudi Arabia to the airport, and he came down the ramp and the red carpet. And as soon as he came down the red carpet, the Houthis bombed them on that spot, and they all fled like people running away from an explosion. And that's the extent to which they've been driving the Saudis crazy. Yes, and everyone knows the Iranians are behind them. It's not the Houthis, it's the Houthi proxy of the Iranians, and now they're doing the same to us. By the way, in the past, they struck Tabuk, a Saudi city. It also has an airport not far from Eilat. So with a little more fuel, they can reach Eilat and even further. So explain to me how a country like Saudi Arabia that has a large army, I don't know if it's a good army or not, why didn't they wipe them off the map? It fights them, and they're also a semi-proxy because they support the Yemenites that oppose them. Yes, the Saudis support the Yemenite government with money and so on. In military and intelligence terms, Saudi Arabia is a weak country. I wouldn't say a failed country, but weak. They have the most advanced and sophisticated American arms, and they have a lot of problems operating these advanced arms. They had an awful experience once. They sent an infantry brigade to Yemen, and the Houthis ambushed them on both sides when they were inside a wadi, and the Houthis ambushed them and slaughtered them to a man. Not one remained. Yes, so that's the situation with the Saudis. And Saudi intelligence, look what happened with Khashoggi in October 2018 in Istanbul. I've reviewed all the details of that operation, and I found 30 operational failures in their conduct there in Istanbul surrounding this event. They wanted to assassinate Khashoggi, and a third grader would have done it better here in Petah Tikva. So in operational terms, they're a weak country. And at 4 o'clock in the morning of September 14th, 2019, Iran from Iraq and the Houthis and from Iran fired missiles and UAVs which destroyed 2 huge Aramco sites in Saudi Arabia, destroying about 50% of Saudi Arabia's oil-producing capability. And they didn't respond. How could they respond? What could they do to the Iranians? The Saudis are weak. And so the Saudis have been crawling in the direction of Iran in recent years because they don't have a choice. America betrayed them. Israel is involved in all its internal problems over the past year with its demonstrations and didn't appear as strong as it once was. And so they didn't have a choice. So they went to the Iranians. And that's the meaning of what's been happening here in the last year. So we could go on and on like Rabbi Akiva on Seder night, but they're going to close the studio. We could stay here all night. Thank you very much, Moti Kedar. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Shalom. And let's all hear some good news.